Well, good morning, everyone. I could be anywhere, couldn't I? An anonymous-looking housing estate. I shall tell you where I am in a moment. Well, you will know, won't you, from the title? It's very cold and a little bit windy. It's about 3 degrees and I'm turning right here. I'll tell you what, my left shifter brakes are very, very stiff. I'll tell you what I will do here. I'm heading down to the River Nid. We're on the outskirts of Knaresborough, near Harrogate. And I'm just doing a little poodle along the River Nid today. It's mostly off-road as well, which is really convenient. So we go right, to get my bearings right, here. And I'm testing out all the creaky bits of my bike today again. The bike's creaky, I'm creaky. Only the second time I've been out this year. It's the middle of February. The river's on our left. You might be able to hear it. And we skirt the river all along for quite a while now. This is a no access lane, so it's quite quiet. Well, it's got a gate across the road a bit further on. Haven't been down here for ages. Excuse me, I'm coming up behind you. Coming up behind you. Here's the gate. All being well with my bike, I'm planning to go along the Harrogate Greenway. Something's creaking on my bike. And I don't know what it is. I don't know if you can hear it. Something's catching. It's early season rides like this that help you get to know what needs tweaking on your bike. There's a kind of cliff face on the right here, and somewhere along here is a house built into it, so I don't think anyone lives there anymore. Oh, we've got daffodils, signs of spring. Pretty daffodils coming out. It's the middle of February, snowdrops and daffodils. It's blooming cold though. Oh, and my shifter is really stiff. The new left one, I'm keeping an eye on that today. See if I need to get my bike mechanic back. Oh look, there's the river, can you see it? So we're heading to the famous bit of Knaresborough by the river with the castellated railway viaduct. My fingers are freezing, I might have to put my thicker gloves on. I brought them with me today, the really thick ones. You do have to be careful of pedestrians along this part of the route, and especially in the next part leading up to the railway viaduct. I think I'm going to have to stop and put my warm gloves on. my thicker gloves on. Makes the controls more difficult because obviously they're really thick. Also got hand warmers, disposable hand warmers. I've got disposable foot warmers, 3 pairs of socks, 2 base layers underneath my cycling jersey, 2 scarves, and my winter cycling boots. Just going past you. Here you get a fantastic view of the railway bridge, which the famous architectural historian Nicholas Pevner said that castellating a railway bridge does not make it picturesque, or words to those effect. Well, it's grade 2 listed now, and it's very picturesque, considered as one of the beauties of Knaresborough. Interestingly, there was another bridge built before this one. It's a railway bridge. It carries the Harrogate to Knaresborough to York line, the slow line to York. And there used to be another railway bridge before that, completed in 1848. And then, unfortunately, it collapsed. I don't know whether it was during the day or during the night, but apparently it collapsed so substantially it took about 5 minutes for all the stone to fall into the river. And so that year, 1848, they built the new one using stone from the same quarry. So this is the second railway bridge in Knaresborough. And this section has a kind of seaside feel towards it, and you can hire boats on the river, and there's cafes and ice cream parlours. We're going under the railway bridge. I think it's elegant, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
Over the road over there is Mother Shipton's cave, as you can see. Which is famous for the dropping well, the petrifying well, where people hang items and the water drips on them and supposedly turns them to stone. Now we're heading along here. This is the sort of joining section that leads to the Harrogate Greenway, the old railway line. This is called the Beryl Burton Cycleway, and I think Beryl Burton was part of the Burton's clothing family.
He's defending
Near the gorge. We'll be skirting the river all the way, Beryl Burton Cycleway. Yes, I think she obviously was a cyclist. Well, we'll leave the river just along here and rejoin it later on the old railway line. We have to climb up the hill soon. And then there's a bit of an incline up to the top part of this cycleway. Morning. So a bit of a climb now through the woodland. First climb I've done since October. We're still climbing, not steeply.
I don't know.
We're nearly at the top. I've been doing indoor cycling, but I really am out of condition. So we are now at the top of what ends up being the Nid Gorge over there, which is a good place to walk, but not cycle. Oh, the sun's coming out. The weather's been so gloomy and so cold. So if it was easier to do indoor sessions on the indoor bike rather than come out on the road. Not that this is the road. But it is a national cycle route path. And we'll be going all the way to Ripley Castle, which is for sale for a mere, I think it's £61 million. I need to check that. You can buy the castle and all sorts of other stuff. A tea shop, a pub, village shop, cricket pitch, hunting, various hunting grounds, woodland, lake, I wouldn't imagine they get too many takers at 61 million. Mind you, having said that, we haven't had any takers for my mum's retirement flat at 125,000, which has been on the market since July. We've reduced the price twice, but no one's interested. So we're going to probably move estate agents, and I don't know what we're going to do if we can't sell it. That's just one of the worries. Right, now we are on an easier section. Which will take us to Bilton and the start of the section of the old railway line that we'll be going on. Only a few years ago this was terrible condition. It wasn't tarmacked, but thank goodness it is now. So this is a mostly off-road ride, which is really good. You have to be careful of pedestrians, of course. And it's half term, so imagine there'll be a few kids on the railway line section. With unpredictable bikes. My sister lives just up the road, so you never know, might bump into her, not literally, I hope. I don't know what I'll do when I get to Ripley. There's the option to retrace our tracks, come back this way, or go in a circular, which would involve a little bit of off-road to avoid a main road. So I don't know yet. I'm warming up now. Even my fingers, which are always the coldest part in winter. What time is it? I keep an eye on the time because my bike camera battery only lasts an hour. And I have to swap it over. There's a campsite here. I imagine they're getting it ready for summer. So be careful if they're chopping down hawthorn though. Yes, you do have to be careful, as I've found out to my cost in the past. punctures. And changing a puncture in cold weather is no joke. Changing a tyre, should I say, an inner tube. Well, it's no joke at any time of year, but when your fingers are freezing cold, it's no fun. Mind you, the day I had a double puncture, it was raining as well. That was not fun. I'm just coming down to Bilton now, which is on the outskirts of Harrogate. And just here on the right we join the old railway line. You can go down into the centre of Harrogate that way on the left, but we're going right. This was the old railway line from Harrogate to Ripon, with a branch to Pateley Bridge. We've explored the Ripon section on other bike rides when we passed through Ripon. One of my rides we went to look at Ripon railway station, which is now apartments. There's a junction further along for the Ripon section, which is not as yet a cycle way, and we head off on the old Pateley Bridge section, which ends short of Ripley. Come on, doggy. This would have been a fantastic commuter line if they kept it open, the Ripon Harrogate, and I think it went on to Thirsk via Bedale. I'm just coming past you. Thank you. Oh, itchy nose. We're coming up to the Nid Viaduct, so it's called, known as the Bilton Viaduct, over the River Nid. Oh, thank you. It's got several arches. Which I think last time I was here, there was a group of police here chatting to a teenager who was sat on the wall, and you really hope that they weren't trying to talk him out from jumping. You really hope, because people have. Thanks. Talking about mental health issues, which you may or may not have been talking about. I'm being interviewed by a major national newspaper later this week about eating disorders in boys. It's an awful long time since I've done a media interview. I used to do them quite a lot to raise awareness of the fact that boys get eating disorders like anorexia just like girls do. But if you've watched my videos, you'll know that for a number of years I was struggling with PTSD, and I just couldn't, it triggered me so much I couldn't talk to anyone. But lately that's thawed out, and thawed out really well. I almost wonder whether I might be able to get back into that kind of thing to help other families. I used to blog for a number of years quite extensively, but blogs are kind of out of fashion now, and it's just vlogging really, videos, YouTube, etc. So I'll park that for the moment, but it's an idea. It depends how much time I have. But meanwhile, I'm talking to this paper on later this week on Thursday. I mean, the good thing is, everything has come on an awful long way since I last talked to the media about it. We've got a really good outcome now, a good ending, with my son fully recovered and working in mental health to help others with mental health issues, using his own experiences, which is brilliant. Brilliant. I've also done a couple of cycling recorder videos, which are quite short, and obviously I record them at home, and I've just got a new microphone arriving today, so hopefully take those to a new level, and if I do decide to do the vlogging about eating disorders, then that'd be great for that as well. I've been struggling with another microphone for some time, and I decided no, I'm not going to bother with that. I'm going to sell it on eBay and get a better one. Soon we'll come to the junction where the Ripon section heads off right or straight ahead. Which is a real shame. That's not a cycle route now. Imagine you could cycle all the way to Ripon. Thanks. Well, you can cycle all the way to Ripon, but you've got to do it on the road. And cycling around the Ripley Castle area once you're off the national cycle route, it is a bit tricky. Intersection of quite busy roads. Not many signs of spring along this section. Or maybe there's some new growth of grass, which is a bit greener, isn't it, than the old lumpy stuff from the winter.
Regardless, they had seen the. Joel, there's a bike behind you.
Oh, no, thank you.
Thank you.
Hey.
Thanks.
Hey.
Excuse me, I'm coming past you. Excuse me. Oh, thank you. I think we must have missed the Ripon junction because we're heading down to the river now. This is a section that's not actually on the railway line, which I think continues up there, or continued, should I say, back right down to the river. I'm nearly at the A61, which we don't cycle on, thankfully. We just cross. It's the road, main road up there. This will be the old bridge. So we've completely left the railway now. So I think it must have crossed about here because that's assigned to Station Yard. So I'm guessing it maybe came across here. I shall look it up. We cross the main road here. We're cycling into the grounds of Ripley Castle. I'm assuming all this is for sale as well. If you haven't quite decided yet whether you want to buy it at £61 million or whatever it was, I'll cycle up to it to help you make a decision. That must be the cricket pavilion and the cricket pitch that you get. And you get the car park and the revenue from that. It used to be free up until a few years ago when they started charging. Castle's got a Civil War story. I can't remember what it is. Someone, a royalist, I think. I'll have to look it up. So I don't know how much of the village you get should you decide that Ripley Castle is for you. But you get that pub, and apparently that earns about £1 million a year in revenue, according to the estate agents. The shop, you get that. I don't know how much of these houses are rented, whether you get the rental income. You can cycle through the woodlands, but I won't be doing that today. The gatehouse, I'm assuming it's that one, is really old. I always think it's a bit off really where you have to pay to park to go to a tea room or to go around the castle, that you have to pay to go around. I suppose you could come on your bike instead. We brought some Australian friends up here and they were really, really taken in by it. I thought it was wonderful. Here's another thing, you can get here by bus if you want to. All the way from just down the road where I live in Leeds, up the Harrogate Road. I could use my free bus pass. Oh, daffodils about to come out here. So I could come all the way on the bus if I wanted, for nothing. I'll put my other gloves on, which are easier to use the controls. See how long I last in these, because there is a really cold wind right now. So we're heading straight ahead at this roundabout, crossing the A61 and going on the Knaresborough road. Which can be a bit busy. So just turning off into Nid village. And we're testing a bit of off-road to cut off the rest of that main road. If it's the cut-off, I think I did before, it involves a bit that you cannot cycle along. Well, it's a bridle way, but you wouldn't cycle along it. You might go on a horse, but not cycle. We shall see. So really the only traffic you get through to here would be deliveries and people who live here. You wouldn't get through traffic really. Everything's a bit heavy going because I've got all these clothes on. I've still got my winter tyres on, which slow me down. I am still in the process of getting fit again. So This is just a little short ride. I think this is part of the old railway line, the Ripon line. The one we missed the junction for. I think. It might not be. No. It doesn't look like a railway line. It's not. It looks like it's part of the old Nids Hall grounds. I'll check on the map later. We will be going around in a kind of circle, well, an arc, and eventually heading back into Knaresborough from the top, which means that you've got a nice easy going downhill section back to where I parked the car, even if the roads are a bit busy. I'm toying with the idea of taking me and my bike away for a week in April, but I'm not sure that I'm really fit enough for that at the moment. We're going walking on Exmoor in March, me and my son, doing some of the walks that I videoed in November. Be interesting to see what they look like in the spring, early spring. We are heading to Brereton. It says Knaresborough this way, but that involves going on the main road again before cutting off a bit further on to avoid it again. This large house, village house. And the coach house for the village house. Please keep your comments coming on my rides, but be kind, please, be kind. Bear in mind, I'm just an amateur, I'm not a professional. I don't get to see what my camera is filming until I get back and upload it, because my camera is strapped to my front, so obviously I can't see what it's filming. So if it doesn't take in everything that I'm talking about, please don't say it's a poor quality video, as someone did recently. I'm not professional and I don't get paid I make no money from these videos. I think people assume that if you do YouTube videos you're raking it in, but the cut-off point for making money out of them is so enormous. You have to have millions of subscribers and views and everything, and then I guess you'd be kind of committed to churning out regular videos. So please be kind. I welcome constructive comments. I've had some really good comments. Lots of good advice. Smartyland. Ooh. Chocolate. Because not only do I not make any money from these videos, but I pay for all the tech, the camera, the batteries, the subscription to the video editing software, and another subscription for the thumbnail software, which I'm paying for out of my own pocket. And as you know, I'm now an old age pensioner. I'm on a state pension, so please be kind with any comments. But please do comment. I welcome comments and I try to reply to every comment. I read every comment. So many video channels where you post comments, I don't think anyone ever reads them. But I suppose if they have millions of subscribers, and they can't possibly read every comment. Oh, geese. Geese, or goose. Oh, it's cold as a cold wind. But I got out on my bike. I got out. I was trying to make excuses, but my bike coach had come up with a particularly boring and lengthy session for indoors today, so I decided to get out on the road instead and avoid it. Yes, Paul, you know who you are. But he'll be glad I got out on the road. Snowdrops. Right, I must check where we go next. Heading towards the off-road section. Brereton. I think this is supposed to be a pub here that's really good. highly recommended. Not been. We were just looking for a pub to go to for a meal with some friends of my husband's who were visiting from Malta. We ended up going to one near York, but I think there's a good pub here. The Maltese people went to look around Knaresborough and they thought it was really good. I think they did. I think they thought it was good because they were staying in York and you can get the train there from York. That's the pub, I guess. Oh, smells of cooking. I think we turn right here. I think. I think we need to go down there. Why do I think it's going to get muddy? It's going to get muddy. On. So, plans, cycling video plans. Well, I was, during the winter, when I've been on the exercise bike, I've been watching some of my old cycling videos, I mean really old, from about 2015, when I first took up cycling again, after a few decades on my old bike. In the days before I realised that the GoPro, you could film it with a widescreen, so it's kind of like the old telly screen. Often silent or without much noise or with an annoying backing track. Now that was a really good piece of advice. Someone said, please ditch the backing track. It's really repetitive and annoying. Can't we just hear the countryside noises instead, and stuff? That was good advice, so I did it. I dumped it, but a lot of my old videos still have that. And so what I want to do is remake a number of them, the best ones, to redo the rides. So I've written out a list of those. Oh, this hawthorn. Never mind. And back then, before I had digital maps, I used to stick a map on the handlebars. You'll see that in my old videos. Now, it's quite useful in a way. You could see where you were going at any one time without having to stop and consult the map on your phone or in your rucksack. But you've got this great big map sticking up on my videos. Look at all these snowdrops. So we've got some daffodils. Snowdrops, they don't always come at the same time, do they? So I think this must be where the track begins here. And hopefully where the hawthorn cutting stops. Knaresborough Round. It's part of the Knaresborough Round, which is a circular walk. The sheep eating hay. It'll be lambing season soon. Straight ahead. I mean, I suppose I could cycle this. I suppose. So another thing, I've got mud guards on. So I've got those adding to the weight. signpost coming up. So this is not the off-road section I did before. I think that was the bit where I went wrong. Oh, another cyclist. Quick chat there with someone, warning him of the hedge clippings. It is really nice to get out again in the countryside. I'm beginning to get a bit of cabin fever in the house. A bit of tarmac. And come out at a place, I think it's called Ockenay. Cycled through it a number of times. So I think this might go down as a yes for a potential off-road shortcut, possibly. That's another thing I want to do this year, is to find more of them. Don't close. Oh, I can get through this way. Oh God. I need to get out. The alcohol to clean the brake discs. Staveley, only a mile away. We've done quite a few cycle rides starting there. We are heading back to Knaresborough.